Libra, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid November 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Libra collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Libras in mid November? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Libra mid-November. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. Big temptation card. Okay. I haven't seen this guy show up in quite a while. Now, don't get all freaked out by it. I mean, we do have this little Adam and Eve symbolism going on here with the devil in the background. But trust me, it's not a worst case scenario. To me, there's just like a very strong temptation energy. Now, before we fully dive into it, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button, but it's happening right on its third eye. You know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about it. So yeah, as I already mentioned, to me, the big overarching theme with this card is temptation. You see, we have the devil, we got the Eve figure, we got the serpent, we got the apple. So whenever I see this, I'm like, okay, I mean, is there something you're trying to not do? Is there something you're holding back from, or a can that you're kicking down the road? Because that could be a big thing with this card, where it's like, I'll just kick it down the road, or I'll handle it another time. Aside from the temptation thing as well. So especially if there's certain things you've been holding back from or trying not to do, there's a chance that you're just like, yeah, I'm going to do it, whatever. And again, no judgment here. I'm not saying whether that's a good or a bad thing, but it's like a changing of one's mind. That's how it feels to me. So there could be various things. And I know Libras think things through and you weigh the good, the bad, but there could be various things where either you change your mind or you're just like, all right, whatever, I'm not resisting it anymore. So I think we're just going to keep it very simple like that. I don't feel like we need to overemphasize it. If that's not you, it could be somebody else. And watch out for any excess of any kind. So we're just going to let it chill right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the lovely Libras, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. We did have some tower energy showing up, and the reading was titled Shocking Action Incoming. Now, that could be a lot of things. That's a broad net, right? It could be actions that we take, actions other people take. But usually when I see a tower coming in, it's not always bad, but it's something coming in hot, coming in quick. So if someone hasn't popped up or popped in or done something wild, or if you haven't done anything wild, just keep your head on a swivel over the next couple of weeks, because that energy can linger for a little bit. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it is for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Libra. What do we have in mid-November, please? What do we got for our good friends? Thank you. Ace of Wands, fiery. Just like I was saying, very similar, where it's an energy of action. It's an energy that's not stalling, not waiting. It's doing something. So let's get it tucked in there. I like it. I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm a fire sign. I like the Ace of Wands, so especially in the beginning. I always like an action card and a fiery card to start us off. Okay, so we got the Knight of Wands here. A double down of the energy, very, very intense, Libra. So the intense energy is still in the mix, which again could be a very good thing for a lot of you. Let's get one more, and we'll start piecing it together. What do we got for Libra here, mid-November? And the Tower again. Okay. So we're going to have to talk about it. Like, these energies are all peas in a pod. That's how I feel about them. It's like they all have a very similar vibe, but they're just expressing themselves in different ways. So that's how it feels. Now, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always like to look at the elements first. And you have a lot of fire this week, right? We got the Ace of Wands, we got the Knight of Wands. And what does fire represent? That's the action element. right? And action cards on top of it with the action element. So whether it's the actions we take, the actions other people take, it's passion, drive, desire, it's burn, right? It's that internal combustion within us. It could also represent our energy levels and vitality. That could be a big thing. So hopefully there's nothing that you're finding exhausting when we see this. The downside to having a lot of fire is the unpredictability, right? Now, you as an air sign, this is a complementary energy for you. It's an energy you can work with. So, again, I'm not seeing it as a bad thing, it's just there. Okay, so again, whether it's super, super intense, which I saw in the Gemini reading, something very similar where the energy is just super intense, or it's dealing with the energy levels. But we also have water right here on the back end, even though the tower is fire and brimstone looking, right, with all that stuff going on, it is a Scorpio card, right? So it's that watery. It represents the internal world. So emotions, feelings, nurturing, loving, caring, creation, artistic expression, expression of any kind. Um, but water energy can also flow in different directions, right? It can always change on a dime as well, similar to fire. So we're gonna have to see how all this plays out. Let's start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Ace of Wands. Now, I love all aces. I think they're all great. They're fresh, they're new. Um, this one in particular is just very fiery. It's like a spark plug. That's what I feel like with this card right here. So, aces, yeah, again, they could be a conversation, a message, a talk, or an opportunity coming in for you, which is really great. Uh, there's a lot of potential with aces, potential for growth or potential for good things to happen, but at the same time it's never a guarantee. That's what I always say about all aces, because it's like a limited time offer, limited time opportunity, where it's like, okay, well, if you don't take this opportunity, if you don't go up and grab it, this energy could go on about its business. So that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes ace energy can be a little flaky too, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I did see it in the beginning where there's like a changing of the mind or a change of heart. This card could do that too. So it's very similar. But similar to what I was saying about the downfall of all fire energy, there's an unpredictable nature to it. So we definitely want to look into it further. Now, moving to the middle, as we get this Ace of Wands tucked back in, we have our good friend here, Mr. Knight of Wands. Now, you might be connected to a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but Knights represent action and communication. Communication, action, action, suit. You see what I'm saying? Action, 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 moving, 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 moving. Like all the energy stacking up in a very similar way. And it does intensify. We go from the ace to the knight where the energy builds and builds, ultimately leading over to this tower, which we're going to take a look at some point. Now, again, the good thing about this Knight of Wands, it's doing stuff, right? It's moving, it's shaking, it's making stuff happen. It's an energy that's not normally stuck. It can be aggressive. That's the one thing I can say about it. So, like in its roughest sense, maybe it is anger, or maybe it is just aggression, or somebody being too heavy-handed. Just watch out for anything like that when this card is here. But I like the action, especially from the Ace of Wands to the Knight, because it's like, okay, this tracks. This makes sense. Like it's a natural progression of something, which is good. But just like the Ace of Wands, there's the unpredictable nature of this Knight of Wands. As far as personality traits go, it's very outgoing, good talker. The Knight of Wands is very convincing. Um, Sometimes it could be someone that's very social and gets a lot of attention. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Tower, which was a big focal point in the reading last week. Still lingering. So, again, I mean, right now, currently at the time of this filming, we're in Scorpio season, Scorpio card. Maybe it's going to tell us something about the rest of Scorpio season. Maybe you're connected to Scorpio. Maybe you have Scorpio placements, right? They're your zodiacal neighbor, so to speak. So I don't necessarily feel like it's bad, and I do think Libra energy can work with Scorpio as well. But again, the Tower, it's shock, it's explosive, it's energy that comes in out of nowhere. So whether it's a good one, whether it's a rough one, whether it's too early to tell, whether it's a coin flip, that's how it feels to me, because it's like we go boom, 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 bigger boom, biggest boom. So there's an intensifying of how the energy moves. So hopefully this is a good tower for you. But I would be cautious with the way the energy feels, especially with that very first card we had about the changing of mind, and now we have all this tower energy. I want to dive deeper on all of it, Libra. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. What do we got for Libra And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. Pardon me. And I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Ace of Wands. Why is that Ace of Wands here? And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Libra, could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Ace of Wands. What's this spark plug about? Quick. I mean, it's just, and I saw this for you maybe a couple months ago. So we have the Two of Wands in reverse. This is a very unplanned energy where it's like, all right, well, I wasn't planning on doing it, but I did it. Or they weren't planning on doing something, but it happened. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. So you might have an extra spontaneous energy to you in this time, especially with all the fire we're seeing here. The Two of Wands is not a rough card. Even in reverse, it's not necessarily rough, but it's just an energy that's unplanned and out of nowhere. Because you see him in the upright, he's very strategic, setting a plan in motion, looking at the road ahead, making decisions, weighing all the options. In reverse, it's like these plans are going out the window. I'm doing something different. I'm choosing a different path or a different route. So, again, for some of you, you might be more prone to change your mind about stuff in this time than you normally are when I see this energy here in the front. But it's just very unplanned and it feels like a risk taker. So, that's another thing. I'm not going to say it's a warning, but you might be a little more um, prone to take risks or do things you normally wouldn't do. The energy feels very spontaneous to me. So again, we're not calling it a warning, but that's just how the energy is presenting itself to me. So could it be an unplanned conversation? Maybe. Could be an unplanned situation. Most likely. We're going to keep moving. We're going to see what the Knight of Wands has to say. Because as I said, like the energy seems to intensify. So let's see what the Knight of Wands has when we get to the action. What's the Knight of Wands doing here? Cute. Peekaboo. Hello. High Priestess in reverse underneath it. Okay. So yeah, the High Priestess, Pisces energy. I also link her to other water signs. Usually she's very withdrawn, very solo, very quiet, very hush hush, very secretive. Guess what this energy is not? It is not all of those things. It's an energy it's loud. Like it comes back with a vengeance, or like it's an energy where it's like once the door opens, the floodgates open, or that's just how it feels to me. It's like you can't just crack this door open. Once it's open, like a Pandora's box, so to speak. So just know there could be certain things in this time, certain actions, certain situations that once it reaches a certain level, there's no walking it back. That's how it feels to me. It's like, all right, well, once you cross that line, you cross that line. And again, I'm not saying it as a warning. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's just how it feels to me. Like with the unplanned here, now the Knight of Wands with the action and her in reverse. It's like, no, I'm here. Like an energy that was once hidden is not. Very subtle, in your face. Um, High Priestess is also very intuitive, even when she shows up in reverse. So for some Libras, you might feel something in the air. Your gut, your intuition could be telling you something as well. Where it's like, all right, well, you know it's coming, Libra. You know it. You feel it. You feel it in your bones. And when I see it in reverse, this is the unknown becoming known, the surprising coming out, the unexpected popping up. So again, whether this is a situation or an action, it could definitely be both. And I'm seeing it here in the front. There could be surprising situations, unexpected situations popping up, and they just seem to intensify. That's why I'm saying once a certain action is made or once a certain line is crossed, that door is open. Let's go in on the tower. We'll see what that has. Then we'll do a quick recap. This is not like your usual energy, Libra. I could tell you that. So maybe this is someone else. It could possibly be it. But why is the tower here? What's the tower here for my good friends, please? Okay. I mean, there's no sight of this energy slowing down whatsoever, my friends. That's just how it feels to me. It's like once this energy gets on a roll, it is on a roll. We got the Chariot in the upright underneath this tower. If you're connected to Cancer, this could be them. So notice we have half water, half fire showing up here, but even all the water cards are in their more aggressive energy. So the energy is moving, shaking, and flowing here. Now, for some of you, that might be a good thing. If you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling stuck in a rut, this is great for you. Um, If you've been feeling a little shaky, if you feel like things have been a little too hectic, maybe this isn't your ideal. But the chariot's the fastest mover. Okay, like yeah, the tower's most intense, but the chariot is going. Now it can represent distance, it can represent travel, and this does tie into what I was saying earlier as well about like certain impulsivities. And now it could be something very minor, where it's like, you know what, I want to go here. Let's go take a 3 hour drive. Or hey, I want to go here. Let's go here for the weekend. Impulsivity doesn't have to be a bad thing. I'm a fire sign, so I think impulsivity can be honed for good. But when I see the tower with the chariot, it's like, yeah, I mean, opening of Pandora's box. That's just the best way I could say it, because we have the spark, we have the door opening, and then we have the flood, the monsoon of energy. So for some Libras, there could be something or an area in life where there's been energy building up and building up and building up for a long time, and then boom, the energy just opens. Now we can label that a warning. We could call it an explosive warning, because normally when I see energy build up for a long time, it tells me that something that's been coming for a long time is actually coming through, and all that energy that's been kicked down the road culminates at one time. So that's how this is feeling to me. Again, only take it if it hits. I feel like I'm getting hyper specific here, but there is a chance for an energy that's building up for quite a long time to reach its culmination, to reach its end, so to speak. I don't want to call it an ending, but that's kind of how it feels. Where it's like, oh, well, it's been going this way, it's been building to this. Let's go through and do a quick recap. So, lots of energy popping up out of the blue, which, again, you're not alone. It's been showing up throughout the whole zodiac. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Ace of Wands with the Two of Wands in reverse, very much unplanned, spontaneous type of energy where it's like, yeah, I was going to do this, but now I want to do this. I'm just going to do what I want. It gives me that vibe. And again, nothing wrong with that. Beautiful thing, all that type of freedom energy. But there's a certain riskiness to it. There's a certain daredevil esque type of energy. So just know you might be prone to do things you wouldn't normally do in this time, or take actions that you wouldn't normally. In the center, we have the Knight of Wands with the High Priestess in reverse. Peekaboo, here we are. To me, unexpected, surprising situation. Absolutely. To me, that's the door opening. So just know that there's certain things, whether they've been building up for a while, but it's like once a certain line is crossed, there's no stepping it back. I don't know why that is pertinent, but it is. It's just showing up here. Moving to the back end, we have the tower with the chariot underneath it. So you see the steady progression of intensification. So there could be a lot of situations or things that have been building up for a long time that will reach ahead, so to speak, or reach their climax, so to speak, where it's like build up, build up, build up, kaboom. Which again, kabooms aren't bad. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but that's just how the energy is presenting. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Libra. What do we got? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. Let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Libra? Cool, star. All right, so as I mentioned multiple times, like all this energy doesn't have to be a bad thing. And I do think for a lot of you, it's about your perspective about the situations you're dealing with. Perspective is everything. Your awareness is everything. What you focus on is everything. But we do have the star, and that is very hopeful to me, especially in the shadows, because it tells me there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So even if you're going through a tough time, a wild time, maybe you're going through a good time, the star is good no matter what. It's a wish fulfillment type of energy. Now, doesn't mean it's something that's happening right now, right this second. No, sometimes the star is something that pays off in the end. So there could be things you're experiencing now that will pay off for you eventually at some point. But I like the star because it's filled with hope. Now, for those of you that may be struggling with feelings of hopelessness or feelings of being trapped, this star is spirit trying to encourage you to see the silver lining in something, if possible. And I know that's way easier said than done. But we're just going to put it down right there, my beautiful friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The November subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and you'd like to have a little chat with me, you can book a personal reading with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You'll see my digital calendar is open for the month of November. They're filling up pretty quick, so if you'd like to have a chat, come over and see me. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of a lovely deck. It's fairly new. It's called Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. It has a whole bunch of fluffy critters. It's really adorable. I think everyone would like it. So if you like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, since it is November, what are you most grateful for right now? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.